What do you mean by a mole? So what we have done over here is we have a very huge collection of atoms or molecules, which is called a mole of them. It's a very huge collection which you can't use to specify any other object. 6.022 something into 10 power 23. Those many of anything is called 1 mole. So even if I take sand and say I've got 1 mole of sand, it is going to cover the whole of earth and form layers and layers on it. If I have to tell you what's the population of this world, the entire world in terms of moles, it would be something like 1 by 1,000,000,000,000 continues till 13 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So somewhere around in those terms it will come. All of them had billion bucks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So many zeros goes away. Still it is 1 by 10,000. So if you have 10,000 worlds and all the guys in those worlds are having a billion bucks, so that would make 1 mole. So it's a huge number. It's a very huge number. Now this huge number is actually required because the atoms are way small. They are very minute. They are very small, smaller than what you imagine. It's not like size of a cell. A cell is like billions and billions of atoms. Atoms are way small, and hence so many of them, a mole of them may be enough number for us to see it. So let's actually see how massive the atom is. Atoms are made up of protons, neutrons, electrons. One proton has a mass of 1.6726 into 10 power minus 24 grams, and a neutron has almost the same mass, slightly higher because it's a combination of a proton and an electron which makes a neutron. It's not exactly the addition of a proton weight or a electron weight, so I'm not going into that today. Minus 24 grams. So effectively for our calculations, we'll take one proton weight almost equal to one neutron weight. An electron weight is way less. It is 1 by around 1836 times the weight of a proton. So it is 9.1 into 10 power minus 28 grams. So after 3 decimal points, 0.009 into 10 power minus 24 grams. So basically an atom's weight, atom which is made up of protons and neutrons and electrons around it, is effectively the weight of the nucleus, because the electrons are too light. So even if you have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 of them, it is going to make a difference after 2 or 3 decimal places. So basically the weight of the nucleus would be the weight of the atom. Now I hope you see why such a big number, why 10 power 23 and all. So basically the weight of proton is in the order of 10 power minus 24. So if you have in that order, if you have the amount in that order, you'll get the amount in grams. So collection of a mole of the atoms is also called a gram atom, because such a collection gives you answer in grams. So we know that mole has to be a very big number in the order of 10 power 24 to get your masses which are measurable like in grams. Then why this 6.022? Why not an easy number like 10 power 24 or 10 power 23 for that matter? Why that 6.022? So even just a 6 would have been nice. A pure absolute 6 power 23. Why 0.022? So can you figure that out? Yeah, we'll try to derive that number. Let's see, had we taken something like 10 power 24, what would have been the case? Now remember that gram and all, a gram or a kg was defined much before we found out what's the weight of a proton or neutron. 1 kg was basically defined as exactly the weight of 1 liter of pure water. So now if you find something, if you find an object, if I find this piece of chalk, will it weigh an integral value in grams? Would it be like some, say, 20 grams or 30 grams? So highly unlikely. So that proton is a natural thing, neutron is a natural thing, electron is a natural thing. So when found out, it was found out to be so many grams. Had it been found out to be a 10 power minus 24 grams, then a 10 power 24 would have been a nice collection of atoms to give you answer in grams. So say the mole was defined as 10 power 24. So I'll not call it mole, I'll call it toll. Let's see what would be the weight of one atom of oxygen and one toll atoms of oxygen. Now an atom of oxygen is having 8 protons and 8 neutrons. Now very conveniently, let us say that the weight of a proton or a neutron is called 1 unit weight or 1 atomic mass unit. So 1 AMU is roughly 1 proton or 1 neutron. That's a very convenient way of measuring the mass. So this would be 8 AMUs of protons and 8 AMUs of neutron. So it will be roughly 16 AMU. Now this AMU unit is not giving you the actual mass at all. It is just counting the thing. It is something like I go to a fruit vendor who is selling oranges and apples and say orange weight and your apple weight is almost same, and I collect say 7 oranges and ask him what's the weight of this. He says 7 orange weight. If I collect 4 apples, he says 4 apple weight. That doesn't make sense. 4 protons is 4 protonic weight, 4 neutrons is 4 neutronic weight. Neutrons and protons are same weight, so it's a say called a fruit weight. So if I collect 10 of those, 6 apples and 4 oranges, and he says 10 fruit weight, so that is just counting the number of fruits. It's hardly giving you the weight. So same way over here, the MU hardly gives you the actual weight. It is just counting how many protons and neutrons are there. Luckily the number of protons and neutrons was same, hence you can say it is 16 AMUs or 16 atomic mass unit. That's 16. Now if I collect a toll of atoms of oxygen, how much will it weigh? So it will start weighing in grams because it is a big collection. Toll we have defined as 10 power 24. It's a big collection, so it will give you answer in grams. So let us actually see the answer in grams. So here the answer in grams would have been too small. It would be 8 into the protons weight plus 8 into the neutrons weight roughly, and I'm not talking about mass defect over here. We are not going into precision right now, so I'll discuss a bit on that later on. If I say both of them are roughly the same and around 1.67 into 10 power minus 24 grams, then you have 16 of them, so the answer will be 16 into 1.67 into 10 power minus 24 grams, which won't be a pretty number like 16 because that was just counting, and this is the actual weight in grams. So now if I have one toll of the atoms, let's see what's the actual weight in grams. The actual weight in grams would be 16 into 1.67 into 10 power minus 24. That's the actual weight of the atom of oxygen in grams and a toll of it. So a toll is 10 power 24. So what we get is 16 into 1.67 grams. Now this is not a pretty number. That is not as easy as to recall the weight of the atom, which is 16 mu. If I ask you what's the weight of carbon, you'll just count the number of protons and neutrons and say it's 12. So, and if I ask you what's the weight of a mole, a toll of carbon, and that would not come as 12, it will come as some other gram. So it is difficult to relate. So since it is the collection is our choosing, we can choose how many to collect. Shall we not use another number instead of this, such that so much of collection gives you the answer as 16 again, 16 grams You want 16 grams as the answer and not some other value which 1.67 into 16 would give, which would be roughly 26.7 grams. Quite impossible to memorize. I wish it was 16 grams. So to get the answer as 16 grams, I'll modify this number. And what we want over here is this into what shall make 1. 1.67 into what shall make 1. So that number comes out to be 6.022 into 10 power 23. I'm not going to into the exact decimal places. I'm telling you the concept of it, how that number came. So if you have, let me write the same question again. If you have a mole atoms of oxygen, the weight would be 16 into 1.67 into 10 power minus 24, which is the weight of one atom of oxygen. This is the weight of one atom of oxygen into a mole, which is 6.022 into 10 power 23. Now if you multiply this, into that, you get exact 1, and hence you get exact 16 grams. So roughly, to just show you roughly, say 1.67, we take it as 5 by 3. 5 by 3 into 10 power minus 24. And here it is roughly 6 into 10 power 23. So what do we get over here? 3 cancels with 6. That's a 2. 5 into 2 is 10. So that's 10 power 24 into 10 power minus 24. Gives you exact 16 grams. Now if I'm going into the exact values, I'll have to define this exactly, then I'll get that exactly. I have to have an exact value of 1 AMU. That is what we are considering a proton or a neutron weight as. A proton and neutron has definitely two different weights. So what shall we consider so that our counting is easy? So let me talk a bit about the AMU value what we are deciding on. Even though the precision over there of what the AMU is and what's the exact value of 1 mole, which I guess would have changed after 20th May, the World Meteorology Day. So the exact values are not required for this chapter because after all, we are going to do chemical reactions, the measurements done in a normal chemistry lab, and where what is happening to the third, fourth, fifth or sixth decimal place of the measurement is not that important. We have to have a definition, so we'll see what the definition is. A very weird thing happens in the atomic world. So we know that atoms are made up of protons and neutrons, and we also know that one proton has almost the same weight as one neutron, and electron weight is almost negligible. So we are just counting the number of protons and neutrons to get the weight, and we are saying that as one atomic mass unit, and give you the weight of elements and compounds, molecules of them, atoms of those in AMUs. So any element, say nitrogen, which is 7 protons and 7 neutrons. Any element is made up of neutrons and protons. So the weight of those will be integral multiple of the weight of what we have decided for a neutron or a proton. A very funny thing happens in the atomic world. In the quantum world, it is in the very small world, it is a very weird thing which is happening, which you might be knowing. If we have 7 protons all separate and we have 7 neutrons all separate, say we can measure the rest mass. So what would be the mass of it? It would be 7 times the mass of a proton, which is what is written over there precisely, plus 7 times the precise mass of a neutron. Now what is the mass, expected mass of the nucleus of nitrogen? What is the expected mass? This would be the expected mass. But what's the actual mass? The mass comes less. You would expect, say 1 proton and 1 neutron were 1 AMU separate weights. So answer would have been 14. Now, as a nucleus, the answer comes as 13.9 something something. It comes less than 14. So what's the weird thing? What is happening is when neutrons and protons come together, then they are bonded and they have bond energy, they have potential energy. So how do you account for this energy? So Einstein figured out, and Einstein said that the mass is getting converted to energy. So easier way of understanding it would be, say this nucleus has to be broken and made into this. How would you do that? You'll put in a lot of energy, you'll put in energy E, and then it will split up. So what happened to the energy? What happened to the conservation of energy? Where's the energy gone? So the energy was used to break it. Now when it is broken, it is more massive. This part is more massive than what it was together. So if I define the weight of this as 14, if this is defined as exact 14, listen very carefully, this nitrogen weight is defined exactly as 14, then these pieces would weigh more than 14. That means each of those proton and neutrons are more than 1. And if we define this as exact 14, if this is defined as exact 14, all of them are exact 1. Suppose neutrons and protons are the same, exact 1, then this will be less than 14. So we have to decide on something. We have to decide on either the separate pieces or the clubbed up pieces, because the math doesn't work exactly as we would expect their addition, because the mass of the collected pieces is not equal to the mass of the pieces when they are separate. So here, let me tell you first, we were comparing the weights with hydrogen. So the concept was relative atomic mass or weight. Now, since everything is made up of protons, neutrons, hydrogen is one proton with one electron around it, which is negligible mass. So anything which is having two protons or three protons, anything which is having two protons and say two neutrons would have 4 times the mass of hydrogen, because that would be two protons, two neutrons, 4 of them, one proton and one neutron is almost same. So 4 times mass of H atom. So that was comparing with H, that was relative mass with H. So oxygen would be 16 times the mass of hydrogen atom. Carbon will be 12 times the mass of hydrogen atom. So that was good enough. But then later on, I think Ostwald suggested that why not use oxygen's mass to compare with the others. Why hydrogen mass? Because they were doing most of the reactions with oxygen and elements which are having similar atomic masses. So whatever was considered one hydrogen atom weight was now 1/16th of oxygen weight. So around 1903 onwards, instead of relating all the masses with the hydrogen's weight, instead of taking that, 1/16th of oxygen mass was being taken. But then we know it's no longer 1/16th of oxygen. It's 1/12th, exactly 1/12th of carbon 12. Let's see why we had the need to redefine to carbon, but the concept basically is same. This is trying to give you around one protonic or one neutronic mass, which is one atomic mass. This is also trying to give you the same value, because this has 6 plus 6, 12 nucleons in the nucleus. This has got 8 plus 8, which is 16. So 1/16th of this or 1/12th of this, or this is just one proton. One of this is basically roughly the same number, but to have precise calculations we should have the exact number. So that's the point of defining it. Otherwise, for this chapter, whether it was 1/16th of oxygen or hydrogen weight or 1/12th of carbon, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We are going to do chemical reaction with some gross calculations, not getting affected by these definitions. But
Since we are doing mole concept, let's just go through this part, why it happened. So 1/16th of oxygen would have been a very nice number. It is better than a proton because these are things combined. So when things are combined, there is a mass defect. So as you know, so there is a mass defect. So taking 1/16th of oxygen is accounting for the mass defect also. So other things like nitrogen, which has 7 protons and 7 neutrons, will also be a combination of this, and is also a combination of protons and neutrons are they are bonded together in the nucleus. So this will also have a mass defect. Hydrogen was having no mass defect and all, there was no combination. So comparing with 1/16th of oxygen is a better idea to get a value of nitrogen also as near to a integer as possible. Let me see you're getting it right or not. If the oxygen, which is 8 protons 8 neutrons, if it is not, by the way, if the oxygen, which is 8 neutrons and 8 proton, was exact 16 units. So if this oxygen was defined, it is not, by the way, it is defined by carbon, then what do you think the weight of nitrogen would be? Exact 14 or more than 14 or less than 14? What do you think? What do you think would be the weight of nitrogen? Give yourself some time and do this. Yeah, so what did you figure out? The answer is more than 14. Simply think of hydrogen. If this is exact 16, what would hydrogen be? If it is broken into pieces, then all the protons and neutrons will weigh more than 1, because on combination it is weighing 16. After getting combined and the mass getting converted to energy, that's the bonding energy. So after getting combined it is 16. So all individually one proton would be more than 1. One neutron would also be more. Now, if I combine neutrons and protons, which are more than 1, and not combine 8 and 8 of them, combine just 7 and 7, which is less than that. So what will happen? They will be more massive because the combination is less, because the bond energy in the nucleus is less. So the conversion of mass to energy is less. So similarly, if I would have asked what would be the weight of something, say sodium, which is 12 neutrons and 11 protons, what would be the mass of this if oxygen was exact 16? The answer would be less than 23. It would be less than 23. Why? Because there are more things combined, more protons and neutrons combined. So if it is more combination is there, more loss of mass is there. More loss of mass is there. If you have a periodic table which is giving you masses to a certain decimal points, then you'll see it's only carbon which is exact 12 and others are less than what you generally refer to, like oxygen 16, it would be less than 16. It is only carbon which is exactly 12 and others are less than the count of neutrons and protons or more than the count of neutrons and protons. And now you know why, which one would be less, which one would be more. Go through some values in the periodic table. It would be more interesting to you now. So yes, why did we not continue with 1/16th of oxygen? Because by then isotopes of oxygen were not discovered, or they did not figure out that there are isotopes of oxygen. So you had instead not only oxygen 16, you have oxygen 17 also, oxygen 18 also, and the chemists who are doing the actual chemical reaction is taking a natural sample. A natural sample is a mix of all these. So a mix of all these would weigh more than 16, say 16.0 something something. So it is weighing more than 16 and 1/16th of that is giving you the AMU value. And for the physicist, they were just taking, the physicist was still taking oxygen. They are not actually doing the experiments. So they are going by the theoretical value and they were continuing taking just the oxygen. So 1/16th of that was a different number that was less than what the chemists were taking. So the values differed. Now that difference actually mattered when we go on to do nuclear reactions and those precise calculations. So they could have redefined by specifying that it is oxygen 16th what they are, so oxygen 16 what they are meaning, but the confusion would have prevailed. So they took altogether a different atom, again which has which is vastly found in combination with other things, particularly organic. So they chose carbon, and this time they were quite insistent and specific about this, that they're taking carbon 12 isotope only. Carbon has other isotopes, you have 13, you have 14, but it was defined this time that it is the isotope 12 what we are going to take, and 1/12 of that. So 1/12 of carbon 12, 1/12 of the mass of carbon 12 exactly is equal to 1. Now it was called unified atomic mass unit, 1U. So that term AMU was no longer used. So that's gone. So this is the exact definition. This is the exact value. What is it being followed now? So may I ask you yet again that what would be the weight of oxygen in the periodic table? Say oxygen 16 itself, say the isotope 16, what would be the weight? So will it be exact 16 or less than 16 or greater than 16? Just do it. Now 1/12 of carbon 12 is 1U precisely. So what do you think? One proton weight would be more than a U, or less than U, or equal to U? So obviously when it is combined, when 12 of them are combined, it is 12 U's. So individually it will be more than 1 U. So the precise value is 100,728 U, and nitrogen is 1.00866 roughly. Okay, U 5 over there. As expected, their individual weight is more than U, and earlier I had written the weight of proton in grams. It was 1.672 something into 10 power minus 24 grams, and neutron was 1.6749 into 10 power minus 24 grams. So what do you think 1U is actually how many grams? Because U was ultimately just counting the number of protons and neutrons, and now we have come down to define this value, which is 1/12 of carbon. So what would be the weight exactly in grams? When I say exactly, this might have changed after 20th May, because they have redefined kilogram itself. They have defined it through Planck's constant, and is no longer the weight kept in the iridium weight kept in Paris. So now 1U, 12 U's is exactly 1 carbon. So 1U must be less than the weight of a proton or neutron. 1U is proton's weight divided by so much, 1.00728, or neutron's weight, which is this, divided by so much. 1U is 1.66054 into 10 power minus 24. So that's your precise value of 1U. More decimal places. So now we need to multiply with this number with something which makes 1 gram. A mole of a U, 1 mole of something of weight 1 U is equal to 1 gram. So we have to define mole in that way. So that is how the mole was defined. So say mole is respecting Avogadro, who basically suggested counting instead of weighing as the more precise way of figuring out chemical reaction. So to honor him, so that 1 mole is also called Avogadro's number. So Avogadro number into the exact 1U, 1.66054, should give you exactly 1 gram. This should be exactly 1 gram. So doing this calculation, we get Avogadro number as 6.02214 into 10 power 23. It's not 6.023, which many text are writing. So this is the defined value of U now. I mean before 20th May, it would still be this for these million decimal places. The correction would have been in the after a few more decimal places. So the Avogadro number comes as 6.02214 into 10 power 23. Let us just again see the effect of this. Let us just again go back to the first point what we were discussing earlier, how this is effective. When we take one atom of nitrogen, it is having 7 protons and 7 neutrons. So roughly the weight is, all the protons and neutrons are roughly 1 U. 1 proton roughly equal to 1 neutron roughly equal to 1 U. This is where we have started from. That is what I am discussing again. So roughly it would be 7 U's of protons and 7 U's of neutrons. So it will be 14 U weight roughly. And 1 mole atom of nitrogen will weigh this in grams, which is 14 into 1.66 into 10 power minus 24 grams. That thing in grams. Why in grams? Because we are going to get answer in grams, because it's a large collection, into 6.022 into 10 power 23. So this part will exactly become 1 equal to 1. That is how the calculation, that is how the numbers have been chosen. Hence the answer becomes 14 grams. So you see the effect. One atom I can say weighs 14 U's or 14 AMU's. I'll still call it as AMU. And 1 mole atom of nitrogen weighs 14 grams. The number remains same. If there is one atom which weighs 14 U's, then 1 mole of it weighs 14 grams. If you have anything which weighs XU, then 1 mole of that will weigh X gram. A mole collection of U's will make it grams and the number will remain same. Now since a mole atoms of nitrogen or a mole of anything, molecules of any species, say calcium or calcium oxide, any compound, a mole of them is giving you answer in grams. The word gram atom was also used. So this very same thing, 1 mole atom of nitrogen can be written as 1 gram atom of nitrogen. So if I ask you what's the weight of 1 gram atom of sodium, then you'll read this gram word as mole in your head and say what would be the weight of 1 mole atoms of sodium. 1 mole. So 1 atom of sodium is 23 U's. 1 mole atom must be 23 grams. So this gram atom may be a confusing word. 1 gram atom doesn't mean 1 gram of that atom. 1 gram atom means 1 mole atom. Yeah, so just do this quickly. Give me the weight of 3 gram molecules of NaOH. Do this fast. So what have you done? You have read this as mole. 3 mole molecules. So 3 mole molecules. So one molecule of NaOH weighs 23 plus 16 plus 1, which is 40 U's. 1 molecule of NaOH. So 1 mole molecule of NaOH, or simply 1 mole of NaOH, will weigh 40 grams. 1 molecule of NaOH weighs 40 U's. So 1 mole molecule of NaOH will weigh 40 grams. So you have 3 moles of them. This is mole. So you have 3 moles of them. So it should weigh 3 into 40, which is 120 grams. Let's do some simple calculations based on what we have learned till now.